where there's a will, there's a way.
Quite literally, Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
You're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Zee Tidwell with Speak Up Zee, and you are now tuned into another episode of Zee Speaks the Podcast. Man, the podcast where we talk about real things with real people, and everything from life to business to mental health, man, to community outreach and everything else in between. And man, we got a very special episode for you guys today. You already know what I'm going to do, man. We give you guys a little bit of business. I'm give you guys a little bit of real life. Kind of an inside look at some of my latest writings that I've featured on my Twitter account. And everything else that I really want to share with you guys has been on my heart. But before we get into today's episode, what I want to do really quick is let's open up with a prayer. And just kind of calm my spirits and just pray that this message that we have for today can really touch the people that needs to touch, and the people that needs to hear it can hear it. All right, so let's do that real quick, and then we'll just hop into the episode. God, we come to you just thanking you for another day of life, and I know that you do for us day in and day out. I'm always providing, always making a way for us, and making sure that we're okay, God. Even sometimes when we feel like everything is falling apart, you still protect us. You still make sure that we're all right. And God, I just want to say that I hope that whatever I say today on this show can speak life into the people that it's meant to speak life into, God, and that you can bring them closer to not only you, but closer to this platform, God, because I know that you're only using me as a vessel to help those individuals, to help your children. God, man, we're everything with you, man, and we're nothing without you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Man, and like I said before, man, I got a very, very, very special show for you guys today, man. So we're going to open it up. Doing some business one-on-one, answering a few questions, or, more so today is really kind of expounding on some statements that I've recently made to my, internal community, to my email list and things of that nature. And then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to hop into some, expounding on some writing that I've done recently, and kind of giving some background as to why I said what I said and what I meant by what I said. So let's hop right into it, man. So for the business one-on-one section, first, what I really want to get into is one of the main things I said that don't worry about going viral. Just focus on creating valuable content. And I think I've recently expounded on that actually in the last episode, but to kind of, take a different angle with it today, or to kind of even expound on it some more, if we want to say that, when it comes to why I said that and what I mean by that, is that I was having a conversation recently, and what I learned is that when people create certain types of content and then they realize that other people thoroughly enjoy that content, they feel as if that's the only type of content they should curate. Or they feel as if, if people love this so much, that's the only thing I'm going to do. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about. That's the only way I'm going to present content to the world. And what I want people to understand is that I understand it felt so good when people show love and that content did numbers, and you might have got paid from that content. You might have got partnerships from that content. Whatever the case may be, I get it. I've had content that's go viral and it put me in a box to where I felt like that was all the only type of thing I could create. And so the reason why I said, man, don't focus so much on going viral, but just adding value to your audience. Because I want you to understand there are so many topics, there are so many creative things, there are so many ways in which your heart and your mind and your creativity within you wants to deliver to the world. But if you get so hung up on only trying to deliver it the same way, the same fashion, the same tone, the same message every single time because it worked a few times, then you're not giving your creativity your all. You're limiting yourself to something so much greater. And not only is that not fair to your audience, but it's not fair to you. So for those content creators out there, for those business owners, for those platforms that are starting to create content around their brand, around their life, around whatever the case may be, I get that you love that one piece of content and it did so well for you. And that's great. And I want you to keep doing that. But ask yourself, what else new can I try? What can I add to this? How can I make this even better and even different? So you never feel like you're putting yourself inside of a box. That's the thing I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Got you? All right, so let's move on to point 2. my client, one of my partners came to me the other day. One of my partners I work with for the media company for Esquire, and we had an issue with a client's content. Right, he's panicking. He's like, "Man, I'm so sorry, man. I understand if this ends our partnership." And whoa, whoa. And it made me think of a thought, and I said, because when he told me that, right, he's panicking, and my whole thing is, all right, how can we fix it? I'm already making calls. Oh man, I'm making calls of, hey, this happened. Can you take care of this for me? Can you help me? And we were able to solve it within 30 minutes. And don't get me wrong, every issue isn't always that simple. Some things I'm not able to figure out. I'm not finna sit here and lie like I can. But it made me think about something. I said that I try my best not to focus on the problem, but instead figure out, man, what's the solution? Because I don't have, at that moment in time, I don't have time to dwell on what went wrong or to dwell on what happened and what broke or whatever the case may be. I don't have time for that at the moment. I can cry about it later. Right now, especially for this client, one of my biggest clients at that, I need to figure out, man, how can we fix this and how can we move on from this and make sure that it never happens again? So I want to share something with you, man. When something happens in your company, something happens even in your life, right? In your brand, whatever the case may be. Something that I really that I use day in, day out as a tactic when it comes to those issues. I'm asking myself, okay, what's the short-term solution that I can implement into my company right now to ensure that I can fix the issue and to ensure that the problem never happens again. But then once I've plugged up that hole for a while, then it's my job to go back to the drawing board and ask myself, how can I ensure that this never happens again, period? But if you exert so much energy on the problem and you're crying about it and you're worried about it and you're never even slowing down long enough to say, okay, how can I fix this? How can we make this better? How can we change this? What do we need to do? What's the solution? To ask yourself, man, who is that really helping? No one. And the last point for business section today. I said there's so many small businesses and platforms and creatives. They treat creating content like it's an option. And yet they wonder why their business struggles. So for the person that doesn't like to be on camera, for the person that thinks that their business is doing well without it, and it probably is. For the person that says they just don't have time. They don't have the resources. Whatever the case may be. If you don't find a way to implement media into your everyday brand, if you don't figure out a way to get on the camera or get your brand on the camera or get a spokesperson for your brand or figure out the best way you do deliver content, whatever the case may be, if you don't figure that part out of your brand and you don't understand that one of the most key people you can have on your team is someone that can master camera work, that can that can write very well, that can do art very well, that does graphics very well. If you don't understand how important it is to have those type of people on your team, your business would always struggle. And then so that person that says, well, my business is doing very well. We're doing this amount of money. We're doing this. And I don't really do any type of social media. So ask yourself this. If you're doing that well with no type of media presence, no type of real brand awareness on a national level, even a state level, if that is, imagine how well you could be doing if you actually took media serious. If you're doing $100,000 already with the tactics and the internal system that you already have, imagine how well you would be doing if you took it a little bit more serious. If you stop treating media and content and media marketing as an option and saw just how valuable it really was. That's all I'm saying. So that concludes for our business one-on-one section with Zee for today. Man, I really hope those 3 points really help somebody. I hope they really touched on some valuable things, because those are the things that I've had in conversations over the last week, the things I've written, or things that I just practice and preach to my team, to my clients, and so on and so forth. Man, but just real quick, I want to do a quick commercial break and then we'll get into the next part, okay? Aren't you tired of mediocre writing and unengaging content? Look no further than Esquire Writing Media Co. See, our team of expert writers and editors are dedicated to delivering high-quality content that resonates with your target audience. Everything from blog posts to media content to press releases, everything else in between. We've got you covered. And we can't forget about our students. With the end of the semester approaching very fastly, see, now is the time to get ahead of the game. Our ghostwriting services will ensure that your papers are well written, thoroughly researched, and delivered on time. Don't let academic stress get in the way of your success. To learn more about our services, to get started today, simply text ESQ, the letters ESQ, to 501-529-7324. Just give us a call and let Esquire Writing Media Company help you achieve your goals. All right. Love y'all, man. All right. Now let's move on to the next part. So this is just, again, some personal writings that I've been doing over, the last week or two, that I just felt were very powerful. And I think that people just need to hear it. And I want to be able to expound on those. Okay. And feel free to follow me on Twitter where I put these at first. Will Z Tidwell, Will ZeeTidwell. All right. So this first one I wrote, I said that, I ain't gonna tell you where the inspiration came from, but I'm gonna just tell you what I wrote. I said that you might have to cut them off, and some people might have to cut you off. Either way, it's okay. You see, because I think what it is that sometimes we only talk about one side of the coin. You feel me? Like, we only talk about when we have to cut the people off, when we have to let go of people, when people are no longer serving us. But not very often are we willing to sit down and realize that we may be doing some things or not doing some things or not being the person or not showing up for certain people in our life to the point where they might have to let us go too. In the same way we had to make that executive decision in our life to let go of certain people at certain points in our life, there may come a time where certain people have to do the same thing for us. And we just got to be okay with that. We can't take it personal because you might be doing the very best you can, but you might not be doing enough for what that person needs at that point in their life. Or they might not like a certain thing that you did because it triggered something that reminded them another person that they used to deal with, or whatever the case may be. And even though it may not be right all the time, even though it may make you frustrated, it may hurt that you had that person let you go or that in their relationship came to an end, the same way it made that other person feel when you had to do it. I think sometimes we take things too personally and think it's all about us, but maybe that person just have to do it for their own well-being. And instead of us taking it personal, instead of us getting upset about it, and instead of us, feeling some type of way about it, sometimes we just got to respect that decision and move on with our life and try our best to be better for the next person that comes into our life. Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a work relationship, whatever the case may be, there may come a time when you have to cut some people off, but there may come a time when that person has to cut you off too. And that's okay. Number 2, I said that, God, I realize how good you've been to me. I don't take that lightly. Because you ever just sit there, right, and just thought about everything that you've been through in your life, everything you had to endure, everything you had to face, all the times it felt like, man, you just wasn't gonna make it, and then you realize how blessed you were. I think the reason I wrote that is because I just wanted to acknowledge to God himself that after all the shit that I've been through, after all the stuff that you've been through, and you come to that recollection in your mind where you say, man, there got to be a God. There got to be a higher power. There got to be a higher being, because I look back at what I've been through and I know there's no way I would have made it through what I went through if it wasn't for him. God, I see what you've done for me. I don't take it lightly. That's why I said that. Number 3, I said that you don't get too many chances to be on that weird shit with me. You don't get too many chances to be on that weird shit with me. And what I mean by that is that you don't get too many chances not to communicate properly. You don't get too many chances to just go ghost on me. You don't get too many chances to mistreat me when I know I've done nothing wrong to you. You don't get too many chances to talk any type of way to me when I know I've treated you with nothing but respect. You don't get too many chances to write off my feelings and make me feel invalid as if my feelings don't matter just because I'm a man and you're a woman or you're whoever you may be. You don't get too many chances to do that type of weird stuff with me before I realize that my life is better off without you. You don't get too many chances to be on that type of time with me. Number 4, I said that it's scary not knowing if all the hard work that you put in is ever going to work. But try it anyway. Because true as it is that it is very scary to not know if the work that you're putting in, if everything you're trying to do to accomplish your dreams and your goals in this life, not knowing if it's going to work, man, that's one of the scariest things ever. But I think something that's even more scary than that is allowing that fear, that wonder of what if, to stop you from ever even trying. Because if you allow that to happen, you end up leaving this earth and you never even tried, I don't think you could ever be able to live with yourself. So yeah, it's going to be scary. I'm not doubting that. But try it anyway. Number 5. We got 2 more after this one. We got 7. I said that why when a man speaks on his feelings, why is he seen as sassy or aggressive? Why is that? Because then people wonder why men never want to open up, why men never want to say what's on their heart, or they try to sugarcoat what they really are feeling and they try to water it down when they really want to say so much more than that. Because why? Because 9 times out of 10, they're afraid that, man, if I say this vulnerable thing, if I say this thing that I've been feeling and I've been thinking for so long, they might not understand me. They might try to make me feel less than. They might try to tell me to man up as if my feelings don't matter. And one of women's favorite thing to do is say, "Oh, you sassy, or you passive aggressive with me." No, what it is that you're used to people putting up with your bullshit and never calling you out on it and never speaking their mind towards you and never speaking about their feelings. And so the moment that I finally say something, even though I may say it with a little oomph in my voice, that doesn't mean I'm being aggressive. I just want you to know how much I mean it. Because I think sometimes people are starting to get a passive aggressiveness and what's the other word I'm looking for? We're starting to get passive aggressiveness and gaslighting. We're starting to get these two things mixed up a little bit, I think. Because yes, we understand what gaslighting means. We understand what being passive aggressive means. We understand all of those things. But if you really listen to sometimes what a man is saying, I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want you to. I'm finally trying to trust you with my feelings. Something that I don't do very easy. And I just want you to hear me out. Hear what I'm telling you. And even if you don't agree with it, even if you have your own way of looking at stuff, at least let me know that my feelings are valid enough to where you hearing me and you respect me enough to be able to tell you that. Because if not, the next time I have something I want to tell you, I might not be able to do it. And number 6, I said, be a little more patient with yourself. Be a little kinder to yourself. You deserve a little bit more of your love. You know, man, because I think sometimes in this life, we beat ourselves up so much, right? We're so hard on ourselves. We expect more out of ourselves. We compare ourselves to other people, and then we realize and we feel as if we haven't accomplished enough that we beat ourselves up about those things. But man, sometimes we just got to step back for a second. In the same way we had that recollection of how good God is to us, we got to realize how good we're doing to be at the age we are. right? How much we've been able to overcome, how much we've been able to get through, how many times we wanted to quit and we didn't, or we quit it and we still got back up and tried again. I think sometimes, man, we just got to be a little more patient with ourselves. A little kinder. Because we give this pat on the back, we give this love, we give this reassurance to everybody else. But ask yourself, when is the last time I gave that to myself? And last but not least, and we're going to wrap it up. Simple. I said it's okay to be quiet when you have nothing else to say. Because I think sometimes, and this is so valuable, because this can go for content creators, this can go for business, this can go for life, relationships. Sometimes we have such an urge to want to be heard, to want to be seen, to want to be valued, to where we overexert our voice to feel that void of not being heard and not being seen. And I want you to know that I want you to get to such a peaceful place in your life to where you're so at peace and so calm with yourself. You realize that I don't always have to be heard. I don't always have to be seen. I can just be. And that if I have nothing to say, then I can just be quiet. If I don't have a message to give, I don't have to record content today. If I don't have anything to say to the team today, then maybe somebody else can lead. If I don't really have anything to say in this conversation that's being held right now, then maybe I can just chime in and laugh and just kind of be a part of it and be a fly on the wall. It's okay to be that sometimes. Because I know how much you want to be seen. I know how much you want to be heard, and you deserve that. But sometimes it's okay if you're not. And just don't feel bad for that. And I'm just going to leave it right there, man. I feel like that was the perfect way for this episode. Man, again, you know me, man. I just pray that I said something of value to you guys today, and something that, really speaks to you, right? And that you're able to extract from this and pull from this and, get what it is that you need from it. Everything might not have been for you today, but I hope something was. You have no idea how much